morning show that the other stations are tuned in to.
Welcome to the Morning Express on Mainland 98.3 FM.
Good morning and welcome to Trends in the Papers on 98.3 Mainland FM, the sound of Lagos. Today is the 22nd of December 2023 and just a few days to Christmas. I hope that we've been able to get all that we need for the festive period, and I trust that we're also looking forward to spending time with our family, friends and loved ones. But not to worry, here at Mainland 98.3 FM, of course, we are dedicated to ensuring that you stay up to date with the latest happenings around Nigeria and around the world. So yes, we will be here on Christmas Day, just in case you want to know what is happening in other parts of the country on that day. Not to worry, we'll definitely be here to keep you up to speed. My name is Omobola Sandra, and we'll be looking through the major trending stories on the front pages of our dailies this morning from now till 8:30. And then we'll take a short break, and by 8:40 we're back for Mainland Focus, where we'll pick two or more stories, flesh things up, put some spotlight on it, and open the phone line for you to share your contribution as regards the focal points for the day. I won't be doing this alone. Fuad Sahid will be joining in via the phone line to give analysis, in-depth analysis to the stories that we're going to be treating this morning. Good morning, Fuad. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, good morning, Sandra. Merry Christmas in advance.
Yay. I am excited. I don't know why, but I'm just so excited, and I cannot.
It's already looking like Christmas. Yeah,
yes, it is
up.
Exactly. In that night, it feels like Christmas. Yes, people may not be able to afford as they would have loved to spend it, but at least the feeling is there, the season is there, and the weather is there. Everything's just really feeling good at this point.
And like we say in Nigeria, let's thank God for life.
Yes, so when there's life, there's hope.
Yes, hope. Hope is renewed when there's life.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I see what you did there. All right. So let's get to it. Let's see what we have as major trending stories this morning. I have this very interesting headline on the front page of New Telegraph. I don't know if I should start with that. But it says Nigeria going through very tough times, but we can fix it. And that's coming from Wale Edun, the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy. It also says here in the riders, unemployment rose by 4.2% in second quarter. Nigeria, that's coming from NBS. Nigerians will reap gains of Tinubu's reforms in 2024. Telco service will be better next year, says NCC. 2024 seems to be the year.
Yeah, promise.
Yeah, it seems to be the year.
A year of affirmative promises.
I don't know. There's a lot that we're looking forward to in 2024.
The golden year.
I hope we don't get some breakfast forward. There's just so many promises. We'll do this, we'll do this. Not to worry, we'll do this. You will start enjoying from next year. So, but just before we quickly run through the other papers, this headline here, what do you think of it? The Minister of Finance trying to reassure Nigerians, saying that yes, we understand that Nigerians are going through tough times, but we can fix it. Can we trust this administration to get us out of this quagmire that we're in?
Well, if you ask me, there's nothing wrong in the government assuring and reassuring Nigerians. First, admitting that indeed they understand that these are tough times for Nigerians, and that look, whatever is the reason for the tough situation, they are on top of the situation and they are ready to fix it, and they will fix it. Of course, you expect to get statements from the government, and there's nothing wrong with that kind of statement again. But the problem is this, Sandra. Dividends of democracy, getting the dividends of democracy to people is on their way and assurances. Nigerians want to see the government walk the talk. You understand what I'm saying? That's where the missing link is. Get assurance of that tomorrow, or make all of the promises and beautiful statements. But Nigerians are waiting to see the government walk the talk. So it's not anything bad. The president also recently talked about 2024. That
will enjoy the dividends of the reforms.
Would manifest fully by 2024, even though we don't have a clear sign. as to when in 2024. But 2024 is not a fast timeline. My government has been in May 2023. And that's like a year plus. And if indeed the reforms will manifest to good governance in 2024, that would be a very good one. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I can't rule the government out yet. If you understand what I'm saying.
Of course.
But beyond mere rhetoric, the beautiful statement, and all of those things, we are yet to see the government really act out what they are saying. We are yet to see the commitment from the government on these things. And until we see all of that, we just have to be just with some of these promises. But it can happen. Why not? If the government is committed to it, it can happen.
Well, it says here on page 3 of New Telegraph, the federal government has assured Nigerians that the various reforms embarked upon by President Bola Tinubu's administration will start to yield dividends by 2024. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Alhaji Mohammed Idris, said the 27.5 trillion naira budget 2024, the administration's first full-year budget presented to the National Assembly, is pivotal towards realizing the transformative objectives.
That's the problem. That's actually the problem now. You understand? Because we all know that the budget has nothing close to bring in any hope. We've reviewed the budget. We've seen the appropriation. So I think they should just get the budget out of it. You know, it's a budget of complete reckless spending. If you understand what I'm saying, it's even a budget that the government is not even sure how to raise money to fund it. It's not budget of promises, spending here and there. And so, like I said, you can assure Nigerians that look, there are reforms that would eventually lead for having a prosperous Nigeria. But not to put it on the budget, really. I doubt if the budget can bring any meaningful transformation.
Well, there's just a whole lot that is highlighted here. If you look through the reports, it says that the reforms initiated by the president across various sectors are sowing seeds of transformative change, and that these reforms are not instantaneous miracles but deliberate steps towards building a stronger and more prosperous Nigeria. And he also added that the new federal student loan program that was announced months ago will take off in January, pointing out that the presidential approval for the exit of ASUU from EPIS is to enhance university autonomy and bring greater operational stability to the federal university system. The declaration of emergency on food security was a decisive move that reflects the administration's determination to address a pressing issue that directly affects the well-being of our citizens. There's a lot that just...
This statement, are they not looking more like campaign statements?
That's how I was reading it one by one, so you can see that they are in bullet points.
And what I'm not saying that, does this not just look like, oh, they are still campaigning? Oh, we are still going to do student loan. We've declared national emergency on food security. These are just beautiful speeches and statements that we are used to. These are not, Nigerians are not new to beautiful speeches and statements from government. Reassuring them and assuring them that they can get better. This is always the pattern, and at the end of the day, nothing happens. So I think Nigerians are not going to live with just beautiful speeches and rhetoric and assurances from government. They want to seek practical solutions to their problems. And look, those practical solutions will start from the government committing to further spending on the nation's resources. If you understand what I'm saying, that's where you practically begin to trust the government. Okay, for example, look at what the Malawian president said about spending judicious. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you are a citizen of Malawi, wouldn't you feel forced to even trust the president? At least you won't even say, okay, well, I see that this is real commitment to transformation. But you have a government that keeps making, like I said, I'm not ruling out this government. I'm not saying it's not possible. Yes, we have all of the potential to get back to being a greater nation again, a great country again. The potentials are there, the opportunities are there. But it is not by mere speeches and rhetoric. It will require serious commitment and dedication to these things. And I'm sorry, by what we have seen so far, the last 7-8 months of this administration, I've not really seen that commitment. It can happen, hopefully it does, and of course Nigerians will be happy.
Thank you very much. Well, you can get more details as regards, the many things that we should be looking forward to on pages 2, 3, and 5 of New Telegraph. That is where we got that particular report from. All right, moving on very quickly. We also have here passengers to get 25% rebate for delayed and cancelled flights in 2024. That's coming from NCAA. So apparently, Fuad, the promise of the 25%. No, that's totally different. But states will hand over aerodromes to federal government after 5 years. Illegal charter operators pose danger to aviation. And that is also coming from NCA. So just very quickly, we also have here that the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority will in January 2024 make a wide-ranging decisions that will help the aviation industry. The acting director general, Captain Chris Najomo, at a meeting said, starting from January, airlines that are found wanting to have delayed passengers and which actions cause delay of flight cancellation will be made to give affected travelers 25% rebate on their next flight with the airline. Fuad, your thoughts? For the airline, for the people, and for NCAA. I would like to get your thoughts here.
Well, this is the reality, Sandra.
Okay.
Recently, heads of agencies of the aviation sector were all sacked.
Yes.
All of them. And of course, you have new guys who are taking over the mantle of leadership in these agencies. So of course you're going to have that first reaction. You want to get it off things and show that indeed they are ready to bring some relief to people as far as the operations of the aviation sector is concerned in Nigeria. So a lot of things that we need to talk about with the aviation sector, Sandra. It's not just about cancellation of flight delay. You understand what I'm saying? Even the operations of our airport, the situation of our airport, the ambience in itself, you understand, everything concerning the aviation industry needs complete reform. And if you ask me if Minister Keyamo can deliver, well, from the things you are saying at this stage, I think you show some level of commitment and a good understanding of what the problems are within the aviation sector. But this still has to be sustainable. So if you understand what I'm saying, we don't want a situation where it's just the initial gaga and then we go back to what we have always done. But I agree with the fact that, look, when flights are delayed unnecessarily, Sandra, if you're going to take a local flight in Nigeria, the only one that you can be sure of the time is the first flight in the morning. If you understand, the local flight to anywhere in Nigeria, the one that you are sure that the time they put there is the time you will fly, is that first flight in the morning. Every other one, you can book a flight for 2 p.m. and you fly by 8 p.m. in the night. Without any explanation, no apology, you just keep waiting. You can't run an aviation sector like that. It's supposed to be time driven. And also saying that, look, this is time to also, beyond all of these reforms within the operations of the aviation sector and the agencies are set out, I also think this is the time for Minister Keyamo to sit down with our local airline operators to now look at some of the areas of their complaints, some of the things they've been complaining about. That's an industry that is highly capital intensive. And I think that a lot of the local airline operators are struggling because of the current prevailing economic situation. And that's one industry that you must never fail on safety. You must never compromise safety standards. And so if you already see the inclination that a lot of these local airline operators are struggling, then I think this is time for the government to look at ways of intervening. For example, they've talked about the fact that Jᴏɪṛ has become a problem. Some of them have demanded for licenses, they've not been able to activate it. They are in talks with Dᴏᴇ refinery and all of that. So beyond, yes, I agree that internal reform of agencies parastatals is needed seriously. The minister has also talked about the concessioning of some of our airports. I agree with that completely, even though I also demanded that the concessioning should be transparent. The issue of vested interest, so that we will not go and give the running of our airport.
Let's not be like the power sector.
Or we go and give the running of our airport now to a company that is not even known in the aviation sector at all. Maybe a company that doesn't have a website.
That was established this year.
That was established just 2 months ago. The contract company, go and just maybe go and register a business agent. And we are open. Like I said, I don't have any problem with concessioning some of these airports. It will, of course, to run it better. But we expect that, look, it should bring some standards, and that this concession should be given to experts, people who understand what it takes to run airports. And then, of course, I think that, look, our local airline operators, the aircraft owners and all of that need some form of intervention at this time, and the government should look in that direction. But all in all, I think we need some serious reforms in the aviation sector.
Thank you very much, Said Fuhad. We also have here the Acting Director General of NCAA, Captain Chris Najongo, has also lamented the nefarious activities of illegal private jet operators, stressing that they pose a serious threat to the country's aviation industry. And he said their activities have seriously affected the fortunes of the genuine and licensed charter operators, vowing that the aviation regulatory body had concluded plans to publish the names of the operators of illegal businesses and to warn Nigerian elites not to fly aircraft that are not duly registered with the NCAA.
How is that even possible, Sandra? At that level, that there are illegal, private jet operators in Nigeria, and they are flying our airspace. So where are they flying from? How is the SCA not in the know?
Exactly. What's the point of regulation there? Because you get to know they're in the airspace, you know.
They are going to fly from somewhere. They're going to fly from our airports, right?
Taking off from somewhere.
Most likely, some of their hangars are even located in our airports. Even if it's a private hangar, they are located in our airports.
Some of them have, helipads that are, in a different place. They are not airplanes. They are helicopters. Most of these.
Okay, I think about helicopters, right?
Or even jets as well. But they have private hangars.
What I've been saying, because again, I remember that the story of Minister of Power, Mr. Adelabu.
Yes.
The air accident he had recently.
Yes.
It was said that chartered flight was not a properly registered chartered flight.
Look at that.
I think it's even beyond helicopters. I'm just wondering if this can be happening, and we're saying that our regulators are not in the know, because it's not just about if they say they are publishing names of those people. It's not about publishing names or going after them and making sure that you implement the law against them. You can't run any illegal, not even at that level. Flying our airspace illegally without being registered. I don't know how to even, I don't know what to say really about that story, but I think we should just do the right thing. Let the minister be on top of the situation. And ensure that the agencies do their job. They
said they have, concluded plans to publish the names of the operators of these illegal charters. So
after publishing, what will not happen?
That's a very good question, Fuad. After publishing, so what will happen? Is there going to be any repercussion, any punitive or corrective measures? I'm with you.
There has to be some repercussions, Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for that. The story is on page 3 of New Telegraph. That's all we can take from New Telegraph. You are listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. This is Trends in the Papers, and we're looking through major trending stories on the front pages of our dailies. Now we're on the Guardian newspaper, the front page of the Guardian newspaper, and the major headline there: Nigeria, the making of a human rights abuse haven. And that story is on pages 4 and 5 of New Telegraph, and of the Guardian newspaper rather. And let's see what we have here. The bloody legacy of past and present administrations has over the years presented the country as a killing field where no premium is placed on human life. The fact that little is done to remedy rights abuses and violation is simply troubling and soils the country's image internationally. While state actors at different levels are playing possum, religious bigots and sundry characters have continued to maim and kill hapless citizens for sports. So, as the world marks 75th anniversary of Human Rights Anniversary on Sunday, December 10, the Guardian is writing on the constant happenings in the country, giving a semblance of Tom Hobbes' state of nature where all sorts thrive and where life is solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. So, Fuhad, as regards human rights, abuse or violations in this country, the role of the National Human Rights Commission, the fact that we hear things daily, somebody did this to this, somebody did that to this, and most of the time it is maybe an NGO that tries to ensure that people actually get justice, because a lot of all these rights and all these abuses, all these violations, we just hear about it and then it dies off. What exactly is the problem as regards disrespect of human rights or disrespect of the rule of law by even the governments themselves?
You know what, Sandra? When we talk about building strong institutions and not strong individuals, this is exactly what we're saying. Because when you build strong institutions, for example, when rights of people are violated, the institution takes care and ensure that justice is served. But unfortunately, we are in a situation where we already seen a situation where we have individuals that are even bigger than our institutions. We have people who are bigger. We've built emperors, both in and out of government, that are bigger than our institutions. It's only in Nigeria that you see somebody who tell you, I will deal with you, Have you heard it before? And you wonder. So arresting somebody with the police, how is that supposed to be a punishment? So because the person knows that look, he gets the police to arrest you, they will detain you illegally, keep you there without trial, even though the law says that look, you cannot detain somebody for more than 24 hours.
Yeah.
So do we respect that part of our law to even start with? Do you understand? And you'll be so surprised that people that make this statement of Mafolopa are the so-called educated people, elites, well-exposed people who travel abroad and don't see that kind of nonsense happen anywhere. But they're happy to do it here because they are powerful, they are bigger than our institution, and they have a lot of money. I'm just talking about the foundation of the problem. So we have a fundamental issue here in terms of our orientation, our thinking pattern, our mentality to some of these simple things. So sometimes when I see people complain about human rights violation, I just think that we are a society that has refused to do the right thing in terms of ensuring workable institutions and structure. So the only thing we do is to pay lip service to rule of law. Oh, the rule of law. We are a democracy. What about democracy? Sandra, there's a story, I think there's a story on the Vanguard newspaper, I hope so, that talks about the meeting that happened in Abuja between the president, Wiki and Co. and Fubara. I think it should be on the Guardian newspaper.
Yeah, you're correct.
It's a Vanguard newspaper.
Yeah.
And if you read that, you ask yourself, are we truly running a country that obeys the rule of law? Are we in a democracy where the constitution is supreme? Or are we in a country where we just pay lip service to constitutional democracy, whereas we're only deceiving ourselves? And then we now go back to the part of that story that talks about the value we place on human life. Sandra, in Nigeria, we've seen level of impunity from people that even protect the people. You've seen policemen harass people. You've seen soldiers harass people without any consequences. And you think, so look, it's all human. It's unfortunate where we are at the level of decadence in terms of human rights violation in Nigeria. It's unfortunate, really.
Yes, as regards what you just the statement you just made now, there's this report also here that police are apparently the number one perpetrator of rights abuse and violation in
I just
country.
said it now.
Exactly, as you just said now. I have a short story here. It says there's someone here that said in her former workplace she just resumed that day and policemen swooped in and everyone packed everybody in the office. And what was the problem? What's the issue? I just resumed today. They said the boss reported that a huge amount of raw materials had been carted away from the store.
Yeah, they must pack everybody.
So and then the police she tried to say, oh, this is my first day of resumption, but the police insisted on she follows them to the station. So this person was at the police station for 3 weeks, constantly tortured, until the employer the employer's younger brother confessed that he was the one that took away the material that they are looking for, not even any of the staff. And what this person said, that to date no one has apologized, no compensation, nothing, everybody just go back. So with yes,
are you telling me that the police kept them for 3 weeks without the employer doing something? They keep them there
until somebody talks back. Well, so that's the issue here, because what we have is that with a police force that allegedly has in its ranks a battery of extrajudicial killers, petty thieves, fraudsters, bribe collectors, criminal elements overshadowing some of the world's best cops, many believe that the government has only paid lip service to police reforms as systemic brutality, corruption, use of excessive force during arrests, engaging in acts of torture, extortion, and harassment of citizens still remain intact in this country. #EndSARS, where youths were protesting against police brutality. But then let's look at now enabling a laws to set up and ensure that there's no abuse of power. The government itself also respects the rule of law. There's respect for human rights and all of that. So how do we ensure, or what exactly is the way out of all of this?
In our law, there's enough in our laws to protect the rights of Nigeria from being violated. There's enough. There are enough things in our constitution, in our laws, in instant laws, Sandra, that protect the rights of Nigerians. The problem is that we are not committing to respecting the dictates of the law and the rule of law. You don't understand? Because the law is the law, but the determination to respect the rule of law is left in our hands as a people, especially at the level of the government. The law is there. For example, they accept what you are supposed to do in keeping somebody in custody, or you do what you want to do, keep people there for 3 weeks, sometimes for 1 month. Recently we talked about people in prison awaiting trial. In prison for almost 2 years awaiting trial. Okay, what kind of justice are you going to give to that kind of person? That in itself is a complete violation of human rights. So what we are saying is that we don't need new laws on the protection of human rights or respect of human rights in Nigeria. The laws are there. All we need to do is to ensure that as a people we commit to respecting the dictates of the law as enshrined in the constitution. But we are not ready. That's the problem. And like I said, these violations even start at the highest level of governance, at the highest level of our elite. The people that you think should know, the people that you expect should have that moral standing, the people that you expect that would have that exposure to know that these things are wrong, but they rub it on your face. They show you aside. They want to show you power. Yesterday, Sandra, I think I've shared that thing with you before. I was sharing something with Eric as to what Lord Lugard said about Nigeria and Africans around 1914. About the fact that, look, we are so happy, we like power, but we fail to understand the responsibility that comes with power.
Thank you.
It's in our nature. We love power. We are happy to display power. We can show it. You see it everywhere now. Everybody is happy to carry mopole around. You know, you even see that people now have special videographers. So when they come down from their car, somebody is videoing them.
Is recording them.
Everybody is on social media displaying power and wealth. But what of the responsibility that comes with that power and wealth? Sandra, everybody is happy to have 3 or 4 mopoles guiding them now. Our policemen have become housemaids to VIP. And that's what we want to show. The so-called elites who are exposed, who are one of the educations in the world, and they do these things. And so when I was telling Eric, so when I look at some of the things that happen in our society, I just shake my head. And the fact is, we are not ready.
Well, thank you very much. It's a very long read. We can get all of the details there. Without mincing words, a former National Commissioner, National Human Rights Commission, Mr. Emmanuel Obiko said the commission has not done a good job of remediating or giving succor to abused Nigerians. That's just the crux of this particular conversation. The National Human Rights Commission in Nigeria definitely needs to do a whole lot more. We're not feeling their impact. The story is on pages 4 and 5. The making of human rights abuse haven in Nigeria. And moving on now, we also have here on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, passengers stranded as 50% transportation rebate scheme stalls. Has been waiting. For what kind of laughter is that? Why you laugh? That's not good.
I'm not even trying. Thank God I'm not trying.
Yeah, but people got stranded for it. People got to the park because the government promised them. The government promised them that.
And did it happen?
Did it happen? Did it happen? And they are reporting to the paper. Why you like this?
Let's see the report.
We have riders here. We are yet to receive funds from federal government, says transport firms. Free train ride begins. NRC expresses concern over implementation. LCCI ensure proper planning and coordination to safeguard transporters first. FCCPC investigates hike in airfare, speaks on price regulations, and finally, federal government to lift 5 million at Yuletide, explains choice of 5 transport firms. Well, before we go into that last one, the story is that many Nigerians they were elated, they were excited about the federal government's announcement of a 50% slash in interstate transport fares and free train rides between December 21 yesterday and January 4. They were left disappointed yesterday when passengers stormed various parks ready to travel, but they still paid premium to their destination.
Maybe they didn't go to any of the 5
now according to the 5 transport companies, we have God is Good, Chisco, Young Shall Go, God Bless Ezinwater, and Area Motors. Yes, and it was revealed that the 50% is yet to take us, because as of yesterday, God is Good is still charging 50,500 to Onitsha. And you have GUO, although GUO is not on. Oh no, it is. Chisco is on the list. Chisco is charging 49,000 naira. Ifesinachi is charging 32,000 naira. All of this to Onitsha. So an employee of Chisco said that they were invited to a meeting where the price slash was discussed, but they are yet to receive any financial help from the government. So, Fuad, I'm asking this question. I know I asked this question when this announcement was made. That but that remaining 50%, is the government going to give it to the transport companies, or is it that let's do Christmas for everybody on behalf of the government?
So this private company, this private is a charity.
Did they give them free diesel or free? Is there anything?
We were not told the detail of the arrangement.
Okay.
The only thing Mr. Dele Alake, the minister of
solid minerals,
and I'm still wondering why is the one chairing that interministerial committee.
Where is the chairman?
Because I think he has a lot of work to do with our solid minerals problem than being the chairman of the interministerial committee on safe transportation for people. I'm sorry, I don't think it's a misplaced priority. There's a lot of work to do, but he is the one that announced it. And what he told us was that look, they've chosen these 5 luxury companies, and they also announced the route. And the target is to lift about 5 million Nigerians. They also talked about the rail lines also doing 100% free, while the bus companies will do 50% free. And that was just the details we got. The assumption would have been that look, they will be the ones to now pay for that margin, the 50% reduction. They will find a way, maybe working with the manifest and the number of persons, the number of trips. And I thought that look, this was well planned out. Even though when that announcement was made, something in my mind told me that look, this was just already put together. And from the reports we are getting now, it's showing that look, this was probably just one of those knee-jerk approach of the government to just excite Nigeria.
But look, I want to just quickly chip something in, because I also know that people actually book fares in advance, days in advance. And there are some people in this report, it was stated that most of the people who traveled yesterday or who wanted to travel yesterday had actually booked their tickets way in advance before the announcement was made. Are those people also supposed to be benefactors or beneficiaries rather of this rebate?
As at the announcement a day before yesterday, it was said that it was going to start yesterday. So one would assume that, look, it has to be new booking. But some of our guys who had gone to some of these parks had said that, look, the arrangements were not fully implemented. You know, some of the bus parks that belong to these 5 companies were still saying that, look, they are not being fully mobilized. You understand?
Yeah.
Again, I think that, look, Sandra, there's nothing wrong, for example, when the government was briefing the press on this particular plan, to have had managers or owners of these luxury buses also present at that time, at that meeting, to show that yes, so we discussed all the details, we are happy, the payment modalities and all of that. So if that doesn't even leave the buses aside, if the NLC, the Nigerian Railway Corporation, is also saying that look, we have worries about this particular arrangement.
Okay.
So it will show you that look, it was not well planned out. It was one of those things that government likes to do hurriedly, and at the end of the day, it may become a racket or it may fail completely. But I'm hoping that, look, for the sake of those that would eventually benefit from it, like I told you yesterday, Sandra, I said half bread is better than chinchi. She said no, half bread is better than puff-puff, whatever it is. At least for those Nigerians that will benefit from this half thing, for bus rides to their villages and their loved ones, and those that will ride on the train for free, I hope that the government will get it right. Even though ultimately we should say that, look, the government should begin to get serious about fixing the things affecting Nigeria. Well, this may go for the season, but I think what confronts Nigerians at this time is bigger and far bigger than the issue of bus fares to their villages. When they travel, what will they eat when they get there? You don't understand what I'm saying?
Voila.
But like we said, house bread is better than change. For those that will benefit from it, let the government get it right. But after that, the government should understand that this is not what Nigerians want. Nigerians want to be able to pay their fares without any form of subsidy. And how can that happen? Let them be able to thrive within the system. Run businesses and thrive, get proper healthcare, get good education, good infrastructure, public power. These are the things Nigerians are looking for, not to come and tell them to come and get outfit to travel to their village. And then they get there, there's nothing to eat.
According to all of this, we have people here that had said that they were not even the trust deficiencies there. They didn't trust the government anyway, so they were ready to even pay their normal fare. Because we have here, there's a GIG passenger, Fatai Balogun, who said that he said he didn't take the government seriously, that he's going to buy his goods, so he was ready to pay the full fare. And also we have members of staff of some of these companies also saying that the government had not even subsidized fuel or maintenance costs to demand rebate fares in return. So what exactly is in it for them as a transport company? And as for the NRC, Managing Director of Nigeria Railway Corporation, despite commending the development, expressed concerns over the cost of the intervention scheme and hope the government would defray the cost. He said, and I quote, "This is not the first time. We did this 2 years ago. It was effective. I say we've yet to recover from that. But what is the government for? The government is to make sure that people have as much comfort as possible." And he said, "We are quite willing and wishing to provide that service." Don't forget that they get this thing either directly or indirectly in other countries. So it's a good thing that the government is considering this, but they should also be willing to provide the resources to do it. So even NRC, that is supposedly a government run institution, also has its concern. And we also have here, he went further to say, "We are hoping this time they are going to give us fuel for those 15 days that we are going to provide the free service."
That will show you that there's no proper. You don't understand, this concerns should have been discussed
before
if it was well
the announcement was made.
So if the bosses are still saying that you're not gotten ready, I expect that government, especially when you have all of the apparatus of government, you plan things well, So at the point of announcement, you got all I's, crossed all T's, and then the thing just worked seamlessly. But again, I'm hoping that look, whatever was done, they should just get it right. So at least people that are ready to benefit from it can benefit from it. But one other thing that has been raised in the story, Sandra, is the actual cost. How much has government budgeted for this particular thing? Would have been nice to have a specific figure. 2 billion, 3 billion, 10 billion as usual.
I mean, that's what these people, that's what they are saying, because you know, an employee of Chisco is saying that yes, they were invited to a meeting where the price slash was discussed, but they are yet to receive any financial help from the government in that regard. So maybe there was a financial discussion held in that particular meeting. That okay, maybe the.
But if the financial discussion was held, how the payment to be made to should have been discussed, when and how it will be paid.
All right. Well, the story is on page 6. You can get all of the details. There's a whole lot more. That says some people are concerned as regards, the criteria for choosing the participating transport companies, and the government is saying that the 5 companies were selected because they already have a track records of moving people from one part of the country.
There's one of those companies I don't know, and people have said it don't know.
Area Moto.
Area Moto, I never see that one.
I've not heard that before. Every time I see the report, I keep hoping that it will be completed, because I feel that it's half of a name. Area Moto. I don't understand.
No, that's the name of the transport company now.
From Lagos. Here in Lagos? Where's their park?
Yeah, they're not in Lagos. They'll be far north. Maybe when we open up our phone lines, if any.
Anyway, that knows where Area Moto is.
Tell us. It can be maybe in the north or maybe in the south. It may not just be Lagos.
I'm interested. I want to know where in Lagos, or wherever it is that they are.
Where in Nigeria.
Yes, thank you. Well, that story is on page 6. Moving on now, we also have here reps summon Sirika over Nigeria Air project, and that is on page 3. God forgive me, I don't know why I'm happy. But the story is on page 3. House of Reps has summoned immediate past Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika over the national carrier project Nigeria Air. They have ordered the Committee on Aviation to invite Sirika to brief the lower chamber on the state of the project as of the time he left office, and is to shed light on a variety of issues regarding the national heritage. For just very, very quickly, finally, we have been having this call, and here we are. But are we to expect anything, and what are the questions you would like to ask Hadi Sirika as regards Nigeria Air project?
The questions are already out there. A lot of Nigerians already know the scam called Nigeria Air. And so basically we expect the House of Reps to, grilling. First thing is that how much have we spent so far on that charade, because it's already a failed project. So it's important for the House of Reps to first demand accountability. How much have we spent? It all started with the logo design, if you remember. Where we were told that maybe $600,000 or something, some huge amount of money was spent on designing logo, and we said that look, even our graphic people in the office will come up with a better logo. At that point, we knew that we were going for there was a problem somewhere, and so to the point of how the contract was signed, was anybody mobilized, was any amount paid? We were told about 5 billion had been spent. We need to ask him if we have spent 5 billion, what did we spend it on? I'm sure that it will be more on consultancy, on some useless consultancy, unnecessary ones. But we need to. These are some of the things. Look, we should set examples, Sandra. This is the time for us to set some good examples. And if we are going to start with that, Sirika, so be it. You can't just pull Nigeria by the nose and call us dumb people. You brought a chartered airline, you paint it, you poured water on it, and then you took it back. And somebody is going to be defending that. So I support this probe if the probe would actually lead to a resolution and conclusion on the issue, not the normal probe that we always see, and then somebody will have things, and then that will be the end of the probe. It's not impossible. I've seen probes in Nigeria that has not resulted in anything. You understand? Yeah. I've seen some probes. We are not new to probes. So there are a lot of probes that we have done. I remember the subsidy scam probe that we did in the past. The thing that started that probe was when somebody collected dollars and put it in his cap. It ended that probe. Then we also saw another one, off your mic. Maybe somebody stated the probe probe ended.
It ended, though.
Yeah, and then of course we've seen probes too, where the person that is being asked question did not bring any document, and nothing happened, and then the probe ended too. So I'm not in for probes that will be more of drama than substance. We want to see a probe that will probably lead to some prosecution.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in for this probe, and I will be watching. We'll take note of what will happen eventually from me.
All right then. Thank you very much for that. Well, the stories on.
And one other thing, I think the EFCC should be sitting when these House of Bread polls are going on.
Yeah.
EFCC should be there taking notes. There are some people that, as they are asking them questions, immediately they finish asking them, the EFCC just keep them straight.
As they picked the CBN governor. Still on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, House summons minister and CBN over limited withdrawals from banks and ATMs, and that's on page 28. So maybe we get to some answers. We get some answers as regards what exactly is going on as regards cash scarcity in this festive period. The story is on page 28 of the Guardian newspaper. We also have here, reps consider semester-based fees for tertiary institutions, and that is on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper. Okay, and the president's wife launches 950 million naira support scheme for the elderly. Yeah, that's a good one. The story is on page 26 of the Guardian, and that's what we're taking from the Guardian. So very quickly, let's run through Vanguard newspaper. 50% fare cuts, federal government rallies to pay transporters. Okay, that's on page 5. Okay. Okay, we also have that's on page 5. We have riders. They help Nigerians by reducing petrol costs. Transport operators tell federal government. We also have vow not to comply with 50% transportation fare reduction. Why we picked? They're not on the list. Why we picked 5 transport firms for Utide ride, says federal government. Chisco, Young Shall Grow, God is Good. 2 others make list. Luxury bus owners commend federal government. Mobilize members for implementation. Traders, customers blame for subsidy removal for low patronage. All of this on page 5 of Vanguard newspaper. Now we are moving to Rivers crisis. President intimidated Fubara to sign peace pact. And that is coming from Briggs. And very, very quickly, the story is on page 25 of Vanguard newspaper, and there are riders. Dichotomy in assembly persists. Factions yet to commence joint sitting. PDP warns members against unguarded utterances, and threats to sanction Lamido after offensive comments. So 4 days after a peace agreement was brokered between Governor Siminalayi Fubara and FCT Minister Nyesom Wike by the president to end the political imbroglio in Rivers State, a fresh revelation has emerged over what transpired at the presidential villa meeting on Monday. Former Commissioner for Water Resources in Rivers State, Chief David Briggs, who attended the meeting, alleged that President Tinubu intimidated Fubara into signing the 8-point peace resolution with Wike. And he went further to say that Governor Fubara signed the resolution under duress following alleged indirect threats issued by the president before handing him the document to sign. And this revelation is coming as most of the agreements are yet to be implemented. Fuad, we have just a minute.
Sandra, Briggs was at that meeting.
Yes.
So he's not here. So he said he was actually at that meeting. He said the president approached the meeting already holding that agreement. And he talked down on the governor, he instructed him, he intimidated him, he bullied him. If it is true, because again, we were not in that meeting. But if what Mr. Briggs is saying is true, then what manner of democracy are we practicing in Nigeria? If what Mr. Briggs is saying is true. Because again, we reviewed everything in that agreement, and everything runs foul against the tenets of democracy and the principles of the rule of law. Everything, like I said, I told what you are saying. I said, look, it's even possible that Fubara never even said anything in that meeting. Because look, what would he have done? where you have the president, you have the chief of staff, you have the national security advisor, you probably have a Wike that is looking at you that, look, if I punch you there, you this small boy, what would you have said? And then you have maybe an orderly who probably just looks just there as a neutral person to say, well, whatever you want to do to this small boy, just do to it. But we ask ourselves, is it the democracy we fought for? Is it the same democracy President Bola Ahmed Tinubu fought for in the trenches with Nadeko? Is it the same democracy that Chief MK Abiola laid his life for? It will be nice to ask the president that is it true what Mr. Biggs has said, that in a constitutional democracy where we are supposed to have separation of powers, the respect for the rule of law, that has happened where the president can talk down and force and bully a governor to sign a document. If it is true, then Sandra, I make conclusion to say democracy has failed in Nigeria, and there's no hope if it is true.
Well, that's all we can take for this morning on Trends in the Papers. I apologize, we couldn't take so many other stories. But then we have a lot of other stories. You can check the papers for others. We need to take a break now for, of course, to pay some commercials. And we'll be right back by 8:40 for Mainland Focus, where you get to join us on the table and have a conversation with us as regards the focal point for the day. This is still Mainland 98.3 FM, and you're on to the Morning Express.
Clock the time. Rock the groove. It's music extravaganza, where the beat gets hotter.